Morning guys, thank you for tuning into this episode. We have a very special car for you today and I'm very excited to show you. Take a look at this. We have a 5-litre V8 supercharged Jaguar F Type R in. We're going to be giving this one a multi-stage enhancement detail. We're going to be tinting the windows, we're going to be taking the wheels off and ceramic coating it. It's going to be looking amazing. The Jaguar F Type was released in 2013 as a spiritual successor to the E Type. Originally as a convertible, the coupe was released a year later in 2014. While you can get a V6 engine, as I said at the start of the video, this one is fitted with a V8. The interior as well is really high quality, got lots of leather everywhere, you sit nice and low in the car, making it feel like a true sports coupe. While most F-Types are automatic, they're powered with the ZF 8-speed gearbox. A manual was available on some V6 models. Now getting onto this particular car, as you can see there's just a lot of dirt and grime all around it. Not been washed for many months. And the paint is quite flat and it just doesn't look as shiny as it should be. As we are taking the wheels off of this F-Type to ceramic coat them, we're not going to bother cleaning them properly on the car, so just to make them a bit easier to handle without getting too much dirt on our fingers, we're just going to spray our iron decontamination product on and then we will just jet them down. Like I said, it's not a proper clean and we'll clean them fully when they're off the car. As per normal, we're applying a citrus pre-wash to the lower half of the car. Then we're going to jet everything down and then we'll get onto the engine. Guys, we're going to clean the engine bay on the F-Type now. Quite a unique bonnet, unlike most cars which open from the front up. This one opens from the back. And here we have the beating heart of this absolute beast of a car. 5-litre V8, supercharged, over 500 brake. I think it's probably closer to 550, I'd have to double check. And as you heard, it sounds incredible. There are many ways to clean an engine and this is just how we do it. We start with a citrus pre-wash and then we will snow foam the rest of the engine bay. Some people are worried about getting their engine bay wet. You don't have to worry. Of course you want to just be mindful of any exposed air intakes and exposed wiring, but most modern cars are fine. Right, we're getting onto the contact wash stage now, so we're going to start with the snow foam. In combination with the citrus pre-wash that we applied earlier, this just reduces the chances of putting any more swirls into the paint. While the snow foam is dwelling, we're going around with our detail brush, just getting in all of the trims and edges, making sure they're nice and clean. And you can see here just how much dirt comes out of the channel above the windscreen. It's totally disgusting. Now onto the contact wash. We're using 2-bucket method with our deionized and reverse osmosis water, which has 0 TDS, so it doesn't leave any watermarks. And we'll just go around the whole car, give it a good clean. Alright guys, the F Type is now ready for polishing. It's been prepped, we've washed it, we've decontaminated it, we've removed the iron and tar from the paint, and now we're just going to put it up on the ramp, take the wheels off and get cracking with the corrective polishing. And I thought it would be also a good opportunity to show you the importance of lighting and direct lighting when you are inspecting or polishing your car or judging the results that you've achieved. So I'm stood on the driver's side of the F Type here. I've got our flex light just sat here. You can see the reflection and you think that's a really quite a nice reflection. You think that's quite glossy and shiny, etc. But the minute that we turn our direct light source on, you can see all of the swirl marks and defects in the paint. And this is when the polishing really comes into its own on sunny days and under direct lights. Just before we get on with the polishing, we always use our paint thickness gauge just to inspect the paint, make sure that there have not been any either questionable repairs or areas where there's not enough paint to safely polish. And we did notice on this particular car, it appears that the bonnet or hood, if you're from America, has been painted, and I'll show you how we've come to that conclusion and the evidence to support that. Doing this for many years and measuring many cars, we know that most factory paint depths are around 100 to 130. So on this door, that's about correct. We move to the bonnet though. We measure over here, 271, 244. So that would indicate that there's been a respray on the bonnet. However, the rest of the bonnet, while a little bit higher than normal, isn't ridiculously high. So it got me looking, and we've found on this body line, so this body line here, we found evidence of a blend line, which suggests that the car has had a localized repair. So you can just see as it follows up through the light, this very straight line. And the reason for doing this is that the painter has tried to hide the repair in the body line rather than having to paint the whole bonnet. To be fair, not a bad job by any means, but it's just something to be aware of when we're polishing. Show you the results of the single stage polish at the moment. Come up really well. We have a few little localized marks still, so we will go over it just one more time and then we'll carry on with the rest, and I will of course take you along for the ride.
Samayo.
You can see on the rear quarter panel, along with the rest of the car, is quite heavy swirling and marks, so we'll polish this and you'll see that the swirls are removed. However, this will leave some hazing, so these are holograms or micro swirls that we'll call. These are just smaller marks left as a result of removing the heavier defects. So you can see here, there is some hazing around. This is normal and will be removed when we refine the car at the end of the correction. One problem that does happen is the buildup of minerals and other dirt around the badges. These can be really difficult to remove if you aren't removing the badge. Replacement badges from the manufacturer can be hundreds of pounds or dollars, so we do try and clean around them where we can. So here we are using the Chemical Guys water spot remover. We're going to brush it in around the badge. We're going to rinse it heavily with some soapy water, and then we are going to blow dry it, as if you leave this on the paint it can cause some damage. And you'll see afterwards that a lot of the horrible mineral etchings and stains have been removed. Right, so we are going to take a break from the polishing and we're going to tint this small rear quarter window and also the large screen on the back. They are just a standard sort of clear factory glass, and the owner would like a 40% tint, so we're going to put those on and it will look a lot more stealth and sleek and blend in with the rest of the dark designs and details in the car. For the window tinting, we are having our friend Simon come down, who runs a company called The Tinter. If you're in the south region of the UK, I would highly recommend him. He's very passionate. He's a little bit camera shy, so I won't force him to be on camera, but he was happy for us to film what he was doing. The first step of installing the tints is to roughly trim the outline. The next part is to shrink the film, and Simon makes an important note here, which is to ensure that all of the fingers are vertical and not horizontal. This is because when you're using the heat gun later, the film is designed to shrink in a vertical direction. And you can actually see him rotate one of the fingers there into the proper orientation. Now he's got the heat gun out and he's getting the film shrunk to the correct size, just making sure that he removes all of the fingers. This process is probably what took the most time, certainly looked to be the hardest part. I'll say that as an observer, not as an installer. Now that the film has been shrunk, it needs careful trimming, so it's been trimmed around on the outside. He's using a stainless steel blade which does not scratch the glass. I don't know how it works, but apparently stainless steel doesn't scratch the glass. So just trimming it around so it's all hidden when it's finally installed. Preparation is key here, so Simon is giving the window a really good clean and scrub, using a scrubber dubber pad to begin with, followed up by a squeegee to make sure that the glass is perfectly clean and no contamination is present. Now that all of the necessary prep is done and the film is shrunk, the backing sheet from the tint film is going to be removed. The film is then going to be rolled up and transferred to the inside glass, which is when it's going to finally be installed. In a similar way to when you're installing PPF, just got to squeegee out all of the air and water and make sure that there's no contamination present, and make sure that all the edges are down nice and sealed. And I'll show you a before and after on the rear quarter glass. I think this is a really nice subtle change. Thank you again to Simon, the tinter, for coming down to help us. And now back to the polishing. Alright guys, we finished all of the corrective polishing now on this Jag. We have to now remove all of the dust that's been created from that polishing, and then we will refine the finish, get rid of any of the micro marring and hologram that we've created, and it will look amazing when it's all done. So I thought I'd pick the camera up just to show you what we're trying to achieve as part of this refinement step. It might be hard to see on the camera, but around the door handle, you'll see there's some hazing and holograms, and you'll see that they don't buff off. They're actually defects that have been put into the paint as part of the corrective process. So while we've been removing the deeper, heavier swirl marks, that process has left these marks in instead. So now we're going to refine those with a softer pad and a softer polish, like a jeweler's polish, and that will get all removed. And I'll show you the after in a moment. And you can see now that the hazing and holograms have been removed. So we'll carry on like that around the rest of the car to make sure it looks perfect. Time for the ceramic coating application. We are using Labo Cosmetica Blindo, which is a 9H coating. It's very hard and it adds a nice gloss to the paint. You can only use this if you're Labo Cosmetica accredited, and we do work very closely with Labo Cosmetica UK. Once we have coated a whole panel, we will then go over it with Labo Cosmetica HPC, which is the top coat of this 2-layer coating. So you put Blindo down first and then the HPC on top, which gives you a really nice chemical resistance. So it's the best of both worlds, of a high resistance from wash marks as well as high chemical resistance. At the start of the wash process, I did say we were going to clean the wheels thoroughly off the car, so that's what we're doing here. The first step is we spray our iron decontamination product on the wheels, allow it to dwell, and then we will give it a good rinse. Then we'll go in with a brush and some wheel cleaner just to make sure that we remove all of the dirt and give the best possible surface for the ceramic coating to bond to. Not Not forgetting tar removal as well. So we spray our tar and glue remover on, allow it to work and wipe it off. Applying ceramic coating to the wheels is similar to the process that you do on paint. Here we're using gyeon rim, so we're using a little microfiber applicator just to get in there nice and deep and make sure all areas are covered. You can also use an air compressor powered gun to apply this as an alternative method. Guys, you can see the F Type is looking absolutely amazing now that we've finished the polishing and the coating. We do now have to do the interior. It's a little bit late tonight, it's Friday night. The customer is picking his car up at 10 AM tomorrow morning. It's about 7:30 now, Friday evening, so we've really got to get cracking with this one. Fortunately, it's not too dirty, so it won't take us too long. Something about the F Types you might not know. The door handles are flush with the body, so you can open them like that. And as I said, the interior is not too dirty. It's a bit of dust and general dirt from light use. Seats look amazing. I don't know if these are Recaros or another brand, but they're very comfortable and yeah, look fantastic. Even though the floor mat's dirty, you can still see stripes from when he either cleaned it himself or had it detailed in the past. So that's always nice to see. With summer on the way and longer evenings ahead, I'd love to get this F Type out into the sunlight. Unfortunately, it's about 10:30 at night right now. We've had a really long day on this car and the owner's picking it up in the morning, and unfortunately the weather's not going to be very good. So we're not going to be able to get any photos in the light. What I will do is put a picture of a BMW M6 that we've done in here, and then I'll show you a photo of it outside just so you can see the sort of difference that some good natural sunlight can do. Because as good as our lights are, it does not do these metallic colours justice. Well guys, what can I say? The F Type is now done and it's looking amazing. Compared to how it came in, completely transformed, much more glossy, way more shine, and it's well protected for many years to come. And if you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just leave a comment below and we'll get back to you. And yeah, keep liking, keep subscribing, and we'll see you in the next episode.